Welcome to Dynamic Destiny. I'm your host, Coach Pete Cafarcio. I love to help people discover their life purpose and make a positive impact in the world. Whether you have a global dream or just want to make a difference in your corner of the world, we'll help you get clarity on your calling and give you practical tools to get unstuck and accelerate your goals. Join me for this episode of Dynamic Destiny. Hey, my friends, this is Coach Pete coming to you from New York City, and I'm so glad you tuned in. Our quote for the day, we're going to kick it right off, comes from Eric Hoffer, and he said, creativity is discontent translated into arts. Creativity is discontent translated into arts. I love that quote. Hey, the reason I picked that is because my guest today is an artist. We have Greg Griffin on the phone. I can't wait for you to meet him. When I first met Greg, the first thing I noticed was authenticity. Like, this guy's real. Like, you didn't take a while to warm up and see that he's real. He just shows up real. And then when I heard some of his music and I saw him perform, it definitely comes through and it connects with you really quickly. And I think, to me, that's the mark of a true artist. It's not that they're drawing attention to themselves, is they help you connect either with a truth or with an experience with each other. And he's great at that. Greg and I both share faith in Christ, and Greg has this ability to see goodness all throughout culture. And he uses all kinds of means within culture to help people connect with that. He describes himself as homemade, creative, feel-good, R&B, spiked hip-hop soul in what best describes Greg G the Goldenchild. And with his signature heart on his sleeve, vulnerable, honest, self-produced cinematic melodies, this musician and writer creates art everyone can feel. So welcome, Greg, to Dynamic Destiny. And Greg, tell us a little more about yourself.
Coach Pete, what's up? I'm happy to be here, baby. Man, a little bit more about me first and foremost. I'm a friend, I'm a brother, I'm a father, I'm a child of God. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. And I'm just happy that I get the opportunity every single day to be able to create things that make people feel and give people routes to get through their days in better ways, whether that's through music. I'm also a filmmaker, so whether it's through film, whatever I can use and whatever, the abilities that God gives me to make him a little more visible in this world, man, I'm blessed. So that's just a little bit more about me, man. I'm happy to be here with you, Coach.
Yeah. And see, I'm so glad people can hear this already. This is just coming through. This is the authentic Greg that I was telling you that I first met. Now you're meeting him as well. Well, Greg, we're kind of on a journey here in our show with Dynamic Destiny, and we're talking about ways people can really kind of figure out or discern what their destiny is. And we've been looking at that from different angles. And the one area that I wanted to explore, and the reason I thought of you right away, was when we talk about our passions, the passions in our heart. And, they've thrown around a lot lately, and I hear, it's like, it's almost this generational anthem, for like millennials and stuff. It's like, follow your passion. But, that's kind of, people don't really unpack it that well. And it's also not the complete picture. That's why we try to look at our destiny from a lot of different angles. But there still is a lot of value, and there's some gold when we can uncover that.
Yeah.
Greg, you've seemed like you've really developed like a language, and you understand how this works. You tap into it on a regular basis. You leverage it. You understand this. Clue us in, like, how does passion, how do people get in touch with that, and how can that help to inform where you've headed and where they could be headed?
Yeah, man, most definitely. I feel like if we think about the quote that you had at the beginning You know what I'm saying? Talking about, your passion and it creating some sort of disruption, right? For me, I believe that every single person, God gives a certain love and aspiration to. You wake up every day and you think of something different to do. I wake up every day and I think about things that like, how can I make the best song ever? Or how can I make some sort of visual to take people to a certain place? Those are the things that I think about when I wake up. And to me, that's your purpose. And that's what you're made to do. So I think about, when I was 15 years old and, we moved to Texas from Florida. And, when I was there, the only thing that I wanted to do amongst playing football and everything else that I was doing and playing basketball with my friends and everything, I wanted to make beats. I wanted to create something. And this started me off on my path. And my mom heard a calling saying, yo, God told her, buy your son a keyboard.
You're kidding. Wow. That's awesome.
And she bought me a keyboard. And when she bought me that keyboard, every day I just spent, when I come home from football practice, I come home from anything that I was doing, all I did was I just spent time on that keyboard, figuring it out, going through it. And that became my passion. When I was a senior in high school, I drew up a flyer and I figured out how to put a song on a CD. And I spent 2 weeks putting this song on a CD and burning up 300 copies. And before lunch, I sold all of them. I went home with this big wad of money, and I said, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. To this day, I still haven't sold that much, but me following what I'm passionate in, when you follow that and you follow what you love and what's in your heart, I feel like that is what drives you through the adverse times. It gets you through those things that, you might not think that you're good enough to do it. Or you might think that, I don't know about this. So there's some people that are searching for their passion. I don't know what I'm passionate about. You know what you're passionate about. You just think in your mind that you can't make money from that. But if you have faith, like I said, when I was in high school, I had faith that people was going to listen to that song. I knew I was going to sell all 300 before lunchtime within 2-3 hours. And I did, and I came home with that much. And it showed me that was God's sign saying, this is what I want you to do for the rest of your life. He gave me that. And if you follow that trail, you're going to be good.
Well, Greg, I want to highlight a point here, but you talked about the money, because this is a big deal. This is probably the number one thing that squashes passion out of people. Oh, you can't, it might be your parents saying, oh, you're not going to make money, doing that, or you have your own self-doubt. And just, you probably didn't highlight this, but I want to tell the listeners, I know Greg well enough to know, like, he does not do projects just to make the money.
Period.
And not all of them do super well. But they're always authentic. He always throws his best into it. And Greg, I've seen this in you, which I really appreciate. When the project's complete and you're releasing it to impact people, that's where your joy is. It's right there.
Yes,
it is. It's about that connection. And it's not, hopefully, you got to make money. You got to stay alive and feed yourself and things. But yeah, I mean, were there times when you yourself doubted and maybe wanted to shut that down, or just think you're being stupid?
I doubt all the time, but you got to think about, I mean, I'm human, we human, but you think about this, you think about like, there's somebody that makes money from everything. People make baskets, cups, plastic cups. Somebody said, I'm going to make a plastic cup. Or I'm going to put water in a bottle and sell it to people. People might have think you was out of your mind, bro. How are you going to do that? And look at all us. All we do is drink. The money's going to be there. So if you put your 100% in whatever you're going to do, if we call ourselves, men of God, child of God, we believe and we have faith. You have that faith to get you through. God is our protector and provider. He's going to provide for you. He got you. He's going to hold you down. But you got to think about, what is your purpose? What are you going to do to get forward through it? And are you going to be a steward with what God gave you? Are you going to put your 100% all into it because he put you there? I might be helping somebody to create a movie that might not be seen by the masses, but it might inspire them to get to the purpose that they need, that God needs their purpose to move to another place, to move the world to another place, right? So you never know what step you are in somebody's becoming to their absolute purpose. So you want to give your 100% all. And this is what I'm put here to do. I know that the gifts that God has given me is one, I'm a culture builder, right? Like I come in and I help people, I help bring people together, and I help teams collectively create projects. I'm also a very creative guy when it comes to music, when it comes to visuals, when it comes to all these things. I know that is what I'm put here to do. So I give that all the time. You never know when your moment's going to be. So you got to always, it's a phrase, stay ready so you don't got to get ready. And that's what I do.
Whoa. That's good. Let's say that again. Stay ready so you don't have
ready so you don't got to get ready.
Sure.
And that's just trill talk. You gotta always put it out there. You always gotta be on your square to be able to put that out there. So people,
or else you miss opportunities.
I and I could talk to you like this because I know you believe in God. I don't believe you can miss out on an opportunity that you're supposed to have. I believe that God puts everything that you're supposed to have. You're put here to get to that opportunity. So miracles will happen around you, whether a door closed or open. And those are miracles. Sometimes a miracle is a door closed, so you can get back to that path that you're supposed to get to. Because your purpose, like we talking about purpose, your purpose is fulfilling that. Like your purpose is getting to that, and God will keep you stagnant in that without doing that. So I don't feel like people. So sometimes people get down and out, and that's a way for the evil one to kind of like get in our head.
Get discouraged. Yeah,
you missed out on that. That ain't man. Like you ain't missed out on nothing. You ain't get to it. Okay, but God is God. He gonna create something else for you.
That's right. There's another one. Absolutely. Great point. And this is something I've really been meditating on lately. I want people to get a hold of. Your purpose is not going to change. You can't screw up your purpose. God wired you for a reason. He's put you on the earth at a certain point in time. He's giving you certain gifts. Your assignments will change. What are you engaged in right now? You have a beginning, you have an end. Hey, they don't always work out the way you would like to see, but that's okay because there's another one. Then assignment's always going to touch on your purpose. It's always going to have a part of your purpose in it. And you know what? So you pick yourself back up. If it didn't work out, you're going to have another assignment. But your purpose is not going to change. And God's going to keep giving you opportunities to keep moving forward toward that if you take them and pursue those.
That's real, man. I think about like 2020 was a crazy year for everybody. if I put in my capsule of time, right, at the beginning of the year, I said to myself, I don't care about nothing. I had got signed to a booking agent in November. I thought that I was going to skyrocket from there. It wasn't happening yet. So by that January that happened, I said to myself, I was working on an album. I want to finish this album. I don't care what it takes, what I got to do. I'm going to finish this album, which, encompassing a lot of things like bringing
a lot of work.
10-piece orchestra, all this other stuff that I wanted to do and bring those elements in. I'm going to finish that. My friend asked me to start, yo, man, can you start help me film, and go in with me 50-50 with this web series called Truck It. I want to enter it into the African American Black Film Festival, which is one of the most prestigious film festivals in America. And I'm not a filmmaker by trade, so I didn't really know about it. But filmmaking has come very fast for me, the same way production came when I started making beats. It's
sure.
Purpose. It's a passion. I'm passionate about. I seen it telling stories, just like I do in my music. Started working on that. Everything's speeding up. Then I started getting shows in February. So my life is going and going. I went to being like, yo, I'm a chill. Everything is cool. I don't care about it. And God showing me. And I was thinking to myself, man, I think I might make it this. Like, this going to be the year that
Your breakthrough year, yeah.
And then after that happened, COVID comes. It shuts everything down. We had a South by Southwest show going that We partnered up with Red Bull and Shea Moisturizer, all this other stuff. That got shut down, everything. But I was cool with it at the time because I was like, well, I'll just get an extra week in Texas. I ended up spending 5 months in Texas because of COVID, right? Because I live in New York, but I was in Texas. But I got more time with my son, right? Because I'm an educator as well, so I got to help him out with that. And then I started working on a whole nother project. So within me work, I was home and God restored, because when I'm in New York, I'm working with different musicians. I'm bringing this person in, this and that. When I was home in San Antonio, it brought me back to that moment I was talking about at the beginning of my mom, when I just had the keyboard by myself, and God restored my confidence. I was losing some of my confidence in myself because I was dependent on all these other people. God said, you got this keyboard, you got this computer, and you got your hands that I gave you. And I created this whole other project summer 2020. And guess what? I got back on that, I think, because I was looking around at my peers. I'm like, no one is rapping or singing about what we going through. Like, this is crazy. I said, I think this is going to be it. I'm gonna blow up. So then that happens. And, I even get in a relationship, fall in love. I hadn't had a girlfriend in 5 years. All this stuff happened. Then at the end of the summer, I just finished the project. Out of nowhere, the most healthy relationship I was ever in my life. Guess what? She just called me one day and said, Greg, I can't be with you no more. Some circumstances happened. And it was no fault on her. She's an amazing woman. It was nothing that she did wrong, and I can't fault her for it. I still love her for it, and she did all that, but I can understand why she had to do what she did. Mm-hmm. Move forward. My grandma dies, right?
Oh, man.
Then I catch COVID. So I got this project.
And you got COVID yourself.
I got COVID at my grandma's funeral.
Oh, my goodness.
Along with a portion of my family that got it. So now my mom and my son have to leave New York early because my son was doing virtual, so I had intended to have him through October. All of these things happened. My sister wanted me to create a virtual show at the beginning of the pandemic. And me, I'm passionate, talking about passion, and I want my things to look right. So what happened is that one of my keyboardists didn't feel comfortable being around with everybody. So I said, cool, we're not going to do the band thing. We're not going to do the virtual show, but go into this, right? The tools that God gives you. He gave me this filmmaking. He gave me all this other stuff. And now I got this project. I didn't get to finish the album that I intended. That's why I say opportunities never miss you. Because all of this stuff that happened, I could have never dreamt of it in my life before any of this.
But it didn't stop you, and it didn't shut you down.
It didn't stop me. It didn't shut me down, because I still had my sister in the back of my head saying, Greg, you should create a virtual show. And I said, how can I do that? Because every time you see me perform before, I get the crowd involved. It's like me performing.
Yeah, very, very crowd. Active. Yeah.
I said, how about I go around and interview all these people that are very important to me and that I think are interesting, and talk to them about their 2020 year while performing my songs and intertwine that. So that's what I'm currently working on. I'm telling you, Coach Pete, I'm looking at this stuff because I'm editing it right now, and hopefully it's done soon. I don't have a date when I'm going to have my show yet, but I'm in the process of editing it, and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, wow, a year ago, I could never have even dreamt of doing anything like this before. But going back to your quote at the beginning, dealing with passion and following that passion no matter what, and making sure that I kept what I love at the forefront, it led me to something that I feel is going to be revolutionary. I don't know if it's going to blow up and everybody going to see it in the world. I'm not sure. But I know that this is one of the most amazing and creative things that I feel like I ever came with, and it has a purpose.
And it never would have happened if the adversity didn't come.
Correct.
Yeah.
All of those things that happened, whether it was, and then some of the good, because my project always, when I create music from a place of love. I get into a place, I'm like, man, and I found this woman, and I wanted to impress her. I wanted to show her how nice I was when it comes to this music. So I just started making songs, and then I ended up having a project and then put it out. And then I went through the adversity, and then all of these things happened. So it's like a yin and a yang, but it all comes through so many different things. And I just feel so honored that God chose me to give me these things, to tell these stories to the people. So that's what gives me the passion to no matter how big or small a project is, it's going to get my 100% because I just feel honored that I get to have these type of gifts that people dream of having. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Greg, this is just so inspirational. And, I'm every episode, we like to have a make it real challenge. And so we're going to do that now. Here's the make it real challenge. Okay, here's the challenge. All of us have some kind of passion in our hearts. And what I'd like you to do is a simple journaling exercise. I just want you to write this down. Mm-hmm. Write down a passion that you had in your heart. And if it's shut down, I want you to write down what you think shut that down and just get it out on paper. Okay, get it out of your head, get it out on paper. And then the third step is just one step you can make going back toward that passion. It doesn't have to be real big. I think that's one of the things that Greg's been really good to illustrate to us. He doesn't think, how do I make this blow up? He just thinks, how do I create it? What's one, and it might not be about arts. It might be, your passion might be something else, but what's one step you can make back into that to help to start to breathe life back into this again? So do that. Write to me, ask Pete at petecoaching.com and tell me how it went. Okay, we're going to go into our commercial break. And when we come back, Greg's going to tell us some more stories. Hi there, Coach Pete here, and I'm so excited to tell you about a new course that we just released, Decoding Your Destiny. Over the past 20 years, I've worked with hundreds of people to curate the very best tools that will help you get more clarity on your life purpose and calling. The course uses 8 very easy to follow short videos and online fillable worksheets that help you record your answers and capture new insights. You're sure to get greater clarity on your life purpose and know specifically how you can make the best difference in the world. Go to petecoaching.com and look for online courses. I can't wait for you to get greater clarity and understanding for your destiny. Well, I'm here with my friend Greg Griffin, and Greg is a hip hop artist, and he is showing us how passion shapes our destiny, and he's just fearless about going after it and overcoming obstacles. Greg, our destiny isn't about us feeling fulfilled. It's about the impact that we can make on other people, and how can we go change the world for the better. Can you give us an example of a project you may have worked on that really had an impact on other people who heard your music?
What's wild is that sometimes it don't even have to do with what we feel like is going through. I'll take you back to the time, 2014, I had just moved to New York. I felt as if, man, I was going to come here and blow up automatically. It didn't happen. I'm in the midst of the summer. Before summer, so for you guys who don't know, I'm also an educator. So I create curriculum. So this is another creation of mine of creating a curriculum at a time for young people. It was high school students at the time, and I'm working with them. We had just finished working on a project of all the students making a particular song that pushes them towards leadership. And I remember I'm putting together all these classes, I'm putting together these things, and one of my students who came to me, and he was just like, and you never know who you speaking to and who you talking to and what they doing. And this is why I will never say that anybody can't do anything, right? It was a particular student of mine. He came to me. This man, I'm going to tell y'all, to be honest with you, every time you put on a beat, he was off beat. He was not rapping the right way. He had no melody. Everything was bad. It was just not right. But I kept telling him, you got this. You can do it. I believe in you, because I did. And I tell all my students that because I believe in them, even past whatever. Summer happens. Y'all know what happens in the summer. Sometimes people go off, and I'm going through some of the hardest times in my life. I'm away from my son for the first summer. All these things is going down. Like, I'm just feeling like, man, what am I doing here? Like, why am I doing this? Semester comes back. this particular student comes up to me, hey, yo, Mr. G, let me show you this. He starts going, I'm like, what happened? He's like, man, I won this rap battle. And I owe it all to you, Mr. G. I'm like, owe it all to me? What did I do? I'm going to keep it true with y'all. I never even seen a future in music for this young man. I was telling him, I'm trying to keep him in because these students, I try to keep them in to make sure that I can just mentor them in the right way to keep them off the streets and keep them from doing certain things, right? But he told me he owed it all to me because you never know what type of influence you're doing. And in a time when I felt down, I felt like I was down. I was just breathing, yo, man, hey, you could do this. I was breathing those type of things into him, and so you never know. And to me, I owe that all to God. I give that all to God.
Yeah.
That wasn't even on me. So I think that's like the best example of something that I create because not a lot of people know about the community work and the educational work that I do because I do that for the people. I don't do that to get the fanfare. There's been many marketing agencies that's come at me and say, yo, man, you should also mention that you a team and all that stuff. I don't want to do that because I do it for these kids. I do it for the community.
Yeah.
You know? I really stand tall on what I believe in, and that's what I want to do. So that's
Greg,
definitely.
There's so many people that I hear that a similar story. It's like you pin your hopes and your expectations and your efforts on something that you think is going to take off or blow up, like you say, or make an impact. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And then this little thing on the side that you were just like, oh, well, I just do it. That's what winds up having some of the biggest impact. This happens over and over again. And the takeaway, I think, for anyone listening to this is keep on keeping on. Just keep showing up. You don't know what's gonna take off and what isn't. Like an investor would say, have a balanced portfolio, right? Keep investing in all these different things because you never know what's going to take off, and just keep showing up because we need you. Right? The world needs you. This is my sign off on the show. It's like we say, you're God's gift to the world. We need you to be the best you can be. Just keep showing up because if you can't do it for yourself, if you're not feeling great about yourself, do it for other people. But we need you. Hey, it's been great having Greg Griffin on my show. I want to repeat the quote for the day. Creativity is discontent translated into arts. And that's by Eric Hoffer. Hey, Greg, it's been a real joy having you on the show. How can people get in touch with you?
Oh, man, please, everybody hit me up, all social media, at Go Ahead Greg. That's at GOHEADGREG. All of them. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that. Please hit me up. Talk to me. I want to know what's up, man. Please keep an eye out sometime in April for this virtual show that I'm looking for. And on all streaming platforms, please search Greg G the Goldenchild. You can download my new project, Summer 2020, in which that's what I was talking about. It's a quick project, 8 songs, but it just talks about the time and the year that we had. And you guys are sharing some of my journey, and I hope that my journey can help you along with yours.
Awesome. So we'll put those links to Greg's social media in the show notes, so check them out there. Greg, thanks so much for joining me, and remember, you really are God's gift to the world. We need you to be the best version of you that you can be. Bye-bye. Thank you, my friend, for joining me on this episode of Dynamic Destiny. As a reminder, you can get more free tools and downloads at petecoaching.com. Let's continue the discussion. Write to me with your questions and feedback. Ask Pete at petecoaching.com. Be sure to tell your friends, and please leave a 5-star podcast review. I can't wait to have you join me next time on Dynamic Destiny.